I don't know what it was about her, but in that moment, the world outside disappeared. The rain could have swallowed the entire town, and I wouldn't have noticed, because Mira sat there across from me with her teacup, smiling at the rim as if every sip carried a secret. She asked me what it was like to own a bookstore, if I ever grew tired of silence, if the weight of unread stories on dusty shelves ever felt lonely. I wanted to laugh and tell her that books had always been my truest companions, but instead I found myself admitting that, yes, sometimes the silence became too heavy, that sometimes I wished someone would walk in not for the books but for me. She tilted her head at that, her eyes softening, and I realized I had confessed something I never meant to say out loud. The rain didn't stop that night. It slowed, but it lingered, as if it wanted to give us more time. And when she finally left, umbrella open and hair catching the faintest glow of the street lamps, I stood there long after she had gone, feeling like something had changed inside me, though I couldn't name what it was. The days that followed blurred together, but my memory clings tightly to one truth. I began to wait for her. I waited for the chime of the bell above my shop door, for the shuffle of her boots on the wooden floor, for the voice that seemed to turn every ordinary sentence into a melody. And she came, not every day, but often enough to convince me that perhaps she too felt some pull between us. Sometimes she bought a book, sometimes she simply talked. She told me about her travels, about the way the world looked from train windows and mountain paths, about how she always searched for stories wherever she went. Stories live in people, she once told me, her eyes glowing with conviction. And sometimes, if we're lucky, we find one that feels like home. I wanted so badly to tell her that she felt like home to me, but the words lodged in my throat, trapped by fear. Our friendship grew in the unlikeliest of ways, through tea shared in the back corner of the shop, through stolen glances when she caught me watching her, through the quiet comfort of simply existing together without needing to fill every silence. But love, as I came to learn, is never without its trials. Just when my heart had begun to hope, she told me she was leaving. Not forever, she said, but for months. She had accepted a travel assignment abroad, one she couldn't refuse. I smiled and congratulated her, but inside I felt something splinter. That night, after she left, I sat alone in the shop surrounded by books, yet I had never felt more empty. The day of her departure arrived faster than I wanted. I told myself not to go to the station, that it would be easier to let her slip away quietly, but my feet betrayed me. I found myself standing among the crowd, clutching a letter I had written in trembling hands. I didn't plan to read it. I only meant to give it to her, a silent confession to carry across oceans. But when I saw her about to board, panic surged through me, and before I knew it, I was calling her name, my voice breaking louder than the station announcements. Heads turned, but I didn't care. I opened the letter and read it aloud. My voice shook as I told her that she had changed the way I looked at the world, that she had taught me how much beauty could exist in small moments, that somewhere between cups of tea and laughter between shelves, I had fallen in love with her. The world seemed to pause. Mira stood frozen at the edge of the platform, tears glistening in her eyes, her red umbrella clutched like a symbol of everything that began between us. And then, slowly, she stepped toward me. The train whistle screamed behind her, but she didn't move toward it. Instead, she came to me, dropped her bag on the ground, and wrapped her arms around me as if she had been waiting all along. "I don't need to go searching anymore," she whispered into my ear, "because I've already found home." The train left without her, and for the first time in my life, I realized that sometimes missing a departure is the beginning of everything. From that day forward, Mira was no longer just a visitor in my story. She was the co-author. The rain that had first brought her into my life seemed to return often, but now it felt less like loneliness and more like a reminder that love had found me in the quiet corners of a bookstore, in the unexpected company of a girl with a red umbrella. And every time I hear the rain now, I don't think of storms or silence. I think of her, of us, of how love doesn't always arrive with grand gestures, but sometimes with the simple sound of a door opening on a rainy night. And I know, with every beat of my heart, that my story began the moment she walked in.